In this park, the average number of gallons of water consumed per day by each elephant, lion, and giraffe is 50, 5, and 10, respectively. Which of the following matrix products yields the average total number of gallons of water consumed per day by all the elephants, lions, and giraffes in the park? So, you do need to know some basics about matrices to be able to solve this problem. And I will explain that at the end of the video after I explain this question for those of you that already know those basics. So, first thing that we're going to do is just eliminate a wrong answer. And the way we do that is you have to have the number of columns in the first matrix be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix to be able to multiply them. And for answer E, that is not true. There's one column in the first matrix and 3 rows in the second. So those are not equal. So we know we cannot multiply E, and that's not going to be our answer. So next thing, we're looking for one answer. It's just going to be the average of the water consumed per day by the number of elephants, lions, and giraffes in the park. So you're just, taking how many that they are each consuming and adding them all together to get one answer. All right. And so the answer of any matrix is going to be defined by the number of columns or number of rows in the first matrix and the number of columns in the second. So whatever answer A is going to turn out to be, it's going to be a 1-by-1 matrix. All right. And the answer number 2 is going to be a 1-by-1 matrix. The answer number 3 is going to be, or C is going to be a 3-by-3 matrix. So we know that the answer we're looking for cannot end up being a 3-by-3. We're just looking for one single answer. And therefore, we can know that neither C nor D are going to be correct because it's going to give us a bunch of numbers, not one number that is the average of what they're all drinking per day. So it's got to either be A or B. And when you are multiplying matrices, you're just going to take the first number there, multiply it times the first number there, and add that to the first number here times the second number here, and then multiply the third number here to the third number here, add all of those numbers together, and that's going to give you your answer. So we've just got to find the answer that lines up properly. So we know there are 600 elephants, 200 lions, 800 giraffes, and it says that the order is elephant, lion, giraffe, and they are drinking 50, 5, and 10 respectively, which is going to be answer A is going to be done properly. So for those of you that don't know how to multiply matrices, it is only going to be worth your time to learn this if you're trying to get above a 33 on the math section. So if you aren't trying to get above 33 on the math section, I don't recommend spending the time to learn how to multiply matrices. They show up so rarely, multiplying matrices questions, where you don't actually need to know how to multiply them to be able to get the vast majority of matrices questions correct on the ACT. But here is an example of one where it helps quite a bit to know how to multiply matrices. So the best thing for you to do is just get on Khan Academy and type in intro to matrices and watch the video on how to do it. Watch it on double speed. You'll get it very quickly. Do some practice problems so you are familiar with it, turn it into muscle memory. But the basics are explained right here. So I'm going to multiply one of the wrong answers so that you understand how this is done. So we're just going to take every row of the first matrix and multiply it by each column of the second matrix. All right, so we're going to take 600, we're going to multiply it by 50, then 600 multiplied by 5, and 600 multiplied by 10. And that'll be our top row of our new matrix. Times 5, 600, times 50, times 5, 600 times 10. All right, so that's going to be our first. Then we're going to take the second row, and we're going to multiply that by each column in the second matrix. And so we have 800 times 50, 800 times 5, 800 times 10. And we're going to do the same with the third row. We're going to multiply it by each column in the second matrix. And so our first answer is going to be 200 times 50, 200 times 5, 200 times 10. So that's why this turns out to be a 3 by 3 matrix. And our answer just comes out to one answer. So I'll go ahead and multiply ours so that you can see how that turns out. 200 and 800, 55 and 10. All right, so when you multiply matrices, you take the first row and multiply it by each of the columns, which there's only one column in this scenario. So when you are multiplying a row, if there are more than one number, if there's more than one number in that row, you're just going to multiply the first number in the row by the first number in the column, the second number in the row by the second number in the column, third number in the row by the third number in the column, and you add all of those together. So it's just going to be 600 times 50 plus 200 times 5 plus 800 times 10. If that doesn't make sense, highly encourage you to go to the Khan Academy video and watch the intro to matrices, multiplying matrices lesson, and do some practice problems on there.